So the question is, do you see yourself as a leader? What are the key leadership characteristics of great leaders in this time? It really starts with you. You can't lead a team of people until you address your beliefs around yourself as a leader. And so, also, really, the leader that you desire to become. So, defining where you are going and establishing that inspired roadmap to get there is going to help you develop your core values as a leader. So, we're going to challenge you in this video to reflect on yourself, reflect on some of your key characteristics and the impact that you want to have with others and really determine, are you showing up as the best leader you can be? So let's talk about it. Like, do you see yourself as that leader? The first step to becoming a great leader is to really see yourself as one. That's the first step. So if you're new to leadership, or maybe you kind of fell off the wagon of leadership, or maybe you were just plopped into leadership and now you got to be a leader, the first and foremost piece is creating that meaningful inspiration within yourself regarding who you want to be. Hey, my name is Dawn Reby, so thank you so much for joining in here today around leadership topics. Here at Excellence in Analytics, we talk about leadership, we talk about analysis, and we talk about leadership of self, meaning that work-life harmony that everyone deserves to have. So, okay, leadership, particularly in policing, how do we become leaders? What are the key characteristics that we need? And so, in the leadership course that we teach, we walk through a process of all of the key leadership characteristics that there are. And often our folks have a hard time picking just five. We have a hard time picking just five. But I would tell you there are very few that are exceptional and really are along the path of all leaders, regardless of what industry you're in. So some of the key characteristics of leaders I'll share with you, and then we'll zone in on the top five. The ability to delegate is a key characteristic of a great leader. Being able to stop hoarding all the work for yourself and really delegate. Your job as a leader is to find the talents and skills in the folks around you. So a number one key characteristic of a great leader is finding opportunities to delegate, to rise other people, to trust in their work and stop doing all the work yourself. Because I'll tell you this, a lot of times leaders are promoted maybe from a position, whatever it might be, an analytical position, maybe you're a sergeant or whatever it might be, you're taken in that position and you're promoted to another position. Yet our mindsets are not in that new position. Our mindsets remain in that old position. And instead of delegating, which, is one of the key characteristics of a great leader, we end up doing all of the things ourselves, or most of the things ourselves still, because we're most comfortable with those things. And I'm here to tell you that that is the no-no, right? When you become a leader, that is one of your key characteristic goals, is to learn how to delegate. Number one, this is going to help alleviate items off of your plate and really create room for more leadership role activities, such as strategic development, partnership, relationship development, efficiency operations, and all the things that leaders really think about. So delegating first allows you to open up some free time. Okay. Second, it allows people who are working with you, who you supervise, to start to figure out, like, what are they really good at? What can they do that you can hand off to them that they can do successfully? And that creates role ownership. So the number one key characteristics is the ability to delegate. All right. All right. Number two key characteristic of leaders is active listening. Far too often, leaders get in positions and they just want to kick out what to do. And we see this a lot in policing, because in policing, we're often, looking at a problem, sizing it up very quickly, and then finding a solution, right? Problem, solution, problem, solution, problem, solution. Instead, we need to be active listeners and stop trying to solve all the problems. Sometimes the problems don't need solving. Sometimes the person who has the problem needs someone to listen to them, to hear them, to empathize with them, and to help them create the solutions to the challenges. So active listening, what does that mean? So this key characteristic, active listening, means that when you're listening, you're not texting or typing or, answering phone calls. You are leaning in, right? So Daniel Coyle's Culture Code book, you are leaning in to that conversation. You have eye contact. You're waiting for the person who's speaking with you to pause, right? You're asking questions and not just listening and then offering a solution. You're digging in and coaching and allowing that listening piece to be the tool that leads other folks into success. So that's number 2, active listening, active listening. So number three, we actually have a tie for this one, which is pretty nice. But number 3 is that concept of servant leadership. How can I serve others? When you show up as a leader and you want to fix everybody, when you show up as a leader and you want to take charge now because you're in charge, that kind of reign often depletes the team and then eventually you, right? So a key characteristic of a quality leader is that servant leadership mindset, where you're regularly asking yourself the question, how can I serve others? In fact, you're regularly asking others that question. How can I serve you? What can I do to create a better opportunity for you to do your job even better here? So thinking about that servant piece, that mindset of how can I serve others? When you think along those lines, you're going to help others come up with solutions that potentially they can actually be accountable for. But you're going to come from a place of service rather than a place of demand, that servant mindset. Number 4, and this is probably one of the most important things, is vision. Leaders are thinking about vision on a regular basis. You are the team chiropractor. You are not only thinking about that vision, but you are regularly aligning other people with that vision. So let's take an example. You're a chief, right? You have a vision of connecting your unit, of connecting your team and helping them rise together, right? You are regularly thinking about collision opportunities. How can I get my team together? How can I, align them with the vision of working together efficiently and effectively? If your vision is to build an analytical function to properly operate, right? So let's say you need 5 analysts to staff a real-time event center, and you have key ideas on what they're going to do and how they're going to serve, and also how the agency is going to utilize them, right? So this vision of them being the hub, the number 1 location where folks are going to find all of their information for real-time events, that they are fully integrated into SWOT operations as a key contributor for success, right? So when you create a crisp, clear vision of what you want to be true, now it's just a matter of aligning folks with that vision. So creating opportunities, buy-in strategies to align everybody with that vision. So that's the 4th characteristic, vision. The 5th characteristic, and this is one that I said vision was pretty important, right? This one is the most important characteristic. Are you ready for it? The most important key characteristic of leaders. This is what it is. It is leadership of self. If you are not showing up as your best self for your team, they are going to feel it. If you are constantly working late and stressed out and getting sick and, just always running around like frantic, your team is going to be part of that culture. That's the culture that you're promoting. If you are not taking good care of yourself, if you are not eating nutritious food, if you are, spiraling out of control emotionally, mentally at home, if you are not taking care of yourself, you are promoting an unhealthy environment. It all starts with you. It is up to you to take excellent care of yourself. So we have a lot of videos and a lot of training tools here on YouTube and also in Excellence in Analytics, where you can help create the best you. You can help show up as your best self. There's so much research that says that if the leader does not show up as him or her best self, then they can't lead others into great success because you are dealing with internal demons, right? And so if that is you, if you're looking for help with that, poke into our other YouTube playlist. I'll put some links down below as well. Subscribe to this news feed so that you can continue to get leadership of self promotions for leaders, promoting your health and your wellness. So those are the 5 key characteristics of quality leaders. And they're not the only characteristics. We have a whole other slew of characteristics that we work on with our leaders in our leadership program, and that I work with my private clients as we coach one-on-one. But those certainly most are the 5 key ones. So if you're new to leadership or you just need a little brushing up, focus in on those 5, and that will get you on the right path.